So hello guys and welcome back to Equi Edge Research, and today we are going to move to the next chapter of our research on the automotive sector. So the topic for today is the segmental shifts amid premiumization, Admist premiumization. Before me to you taking to the story of segmental shifts or value migration across segments in the passenger vehicle industry, uh, Admist premiumization. Let me drive you through the short story of premiumization and the Indian economy. So, for any economy to thrive or to see growth, there are five most important factors, and those factors are consumption, 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 and none other than consumption. But the most important thing here to be understand for us to understand is the quality of consumption and the quantity of that qualitative consumption, right? So for going deeper into this, let us understand how the Indian economy or the Indian population is been segmented based on their earnings. So let us suppose this is the Indian economy, and there are three segments in this. The last and the lowest segment is the India 3, the next one is India 2, and the final and the top is the affluent class of India 1. So what happens is the India 3 has the lowest incomes. India 2, it comes to common people, middle class, upper middle class, and we have a top shift of India 1, the affluent class, the rich, the wealthy, etc. So what happens is when we talk about premiumization, each and every segment has different levels of earnings, and based on that they do different levels of consumption and different qualities of consumption. Now we need to ask the story of premiumization. So when we talk about the story of premiumization, it came into late 1990s. और कौन लाया इसको? It was discovered or it was being executed by alcohol and beverage industry. So what happened was the alcohol and beverage industries wanted to sell their products to premium to each and every class of people. So they used this method of premiumization to sell. So they created a perception of premium alcohol brand which was being placed at higher levels on the shelf or the marketing levels on shelf. तो देखो क्या होता है कि when you enter DMart and you see different products that are kept in the shelf, they are not kept randomly. They are well structured and there is a psychological math behind keeping of each and every product in the shelf of DMart. When you enter, अगर आपने observe किया, when you enter and you look at the shelves, the first shelf that comes, it includes the FMCG products, fast moving consumer goods, daily essentials, khana pina, and that too attractive products, that when the people who are coming with their children and the children look at those attractive biscuits or chocolates, they want them, so they ask their parents to buy it. So these are the things that happen in the market. So what happens is, if you want to go more deeper about premiumization की कैसे काम करता है, when you go in DMart, just imagine when you're going in a general store before 2016 in any general store, and when you looked at Parle biscuits, there was only one or two types or products of biscuits in Parle. One of them was Parle-G, and there was one more brand, the cream biscuit of Parle, right? But after 2016, because the premiumization or the layer of premiumization entered in India in 2016, so what happened was now Parle started creating a wide range of products, and based on those wide range of products, they even created one more range of product, the premium segment of products. I guess you have seen that first it was Parle-G, then there was different product, then one more good product that came was the Chocofil biscuit, right? पार्ले के अंदर चोकोफिल वाला बिस्किट आता है. हैव यू लुक्ड एट द वे इट इज प्रेजेंटेड, द उसका जो बॉक्स है, इट गिव्स अ प्रीमियम फीलिंग. और टू बी प्रिसाइज उसका ब्रांड का नाम शायद पार्ले प्लैटिनम है, राइट? सो नाउ व्हाट पार्ले डिड इज इट स्टार्टेड targeting different segments of people, right? If there are different segments of people, and also the biscuit industry is totally dependent upon the per capita income of people, maybe rural developments or the urban development. Think of it as a normal person who is earning 10,000 rupees a month, who has very tight budget. उसका बच्चा जाके देखो, वो खा सकता है क्या पार्ले प्लैटिनम? नहीं, वो नहीं खाएगा, वो पार्ले जी खा सकता है, राइट? एट द सेम टाइम कोई ऐसा बच्चा है जिसके पापा इंजीनियर है, इज वर्किंग इन IT sector, he would choose a different product. Whereas when you talk about the affluent classes, they choose a different product. So what happens is, the companies, what they did in the past, what happened was they used to target every customer as a normal customer, and every product range. For suppose पार्ले जी, अगर उसका प्रॉफिट मार्जिन 3% है, तो वो 3% अक्रॉस एवरी मार्केट सेगमेंट रहेगा, या फिर एवरी टारगेट ऑडियंस रहेगा. जबकि जब उसमें ऐड किया गया, उसके अंदर पार्ले प्लैटिनम ऐड किया गया, नाउ दीज प्रीमियम प्रोडक्ट्स वर सोल्ड एट higher prices were sold, and the production cost is always low. Why? Because of operational leverage, economies of scale. So the operating profit and the profit margins of the companies, it increased, which has already shown the results in the bottom line, that is the revenue, the net sales, the net profits of the company, right? So this is the thing. Now let us talk about the automobile sector's premiumization. So let us talk from the past. I have always told, if you want to understand some radical shifts in the present, you have to go into the past. If you have seen the last domino fall and you want to know why did that fall, you have to see the first domino who hit it. So when we moved to 1980s of incorporation of Maruti Udyog Limited, and 1982 or 1983 where we had a coalition with Suzuki Motors Japan, what was the reason behind that? To create a compact, affordable, right, and a utilizable value for Indian customers, utilizable cars for Indian consumers and customers. So when we started creating the first batch of cars, the per capita income of people was very low. So people were buying the normal ranges of car. But when with the course of time the economies changed, the per capita income of people has changed, the earnings of people has changed, the inflation has been rising, the growth of people has been changed, things have changed. But from that point of time, they were selling hatchbacks. And even today, lot of sales have been done by hatchbacks. But now the growth of hatchbacks has been subdued, and sometimes it has shown a degrowth. Now we need to understand what are the targeted customers for hatchbacks. So the targeted customer for hatchbacks are the rural areas and a little bit of tier 3, tier 2 and urban areas based on the requirements. But the major target audience is the rural area. So what is the main occupation of rural area? It is agriculture, right? So before, in the last 4-5 years, the rainfall has not been very much good, that the rural areas have got a sufficient amount of yield for them to consume. And as I discussed in the last video, that when a good rainfall occurs, good harvestment occurs, and a good yield has been generated by the farmer, now the money has been came to the rural area, and from there the first layer of consumption starts in the economy. That hasn't happened, right? The second and the most important thing, the prices of raw materials has been increased. Now as soon as the raw materials price has been increased and the company couldn't afford to take those price hikes, they supply this price hikes to consumers. So what happens is, the rural people, already the rainfalls were not so good, the yields were not so good, and now the prices of cars has been changed. The rural people, the hatchbacks, the entry level cars, which are entry level cars, maybe at the best it is Swift, maybe it is a little bit luxurious as compared to what we talk about Wagoner or Alto, etc., Ignis or i10. These are all the entry level hatchbacks. So these people couldn't afford. At the same time, there is one more change that has happened, that within the three segments, some of the people from India 3 has been changing to or moving to India 2, and some of the people from India 2 are moving to India 1. And the people who are moving from India 3 to India 2, the volume of people is quite more. And the consumer behavior of buying has changed. The consumer is not very much now bounded to the price, but it is he is very much interested into the designs or the features or the things that are being provided in the low prices to the consumer, right? The next thing, the most important thing, the introduction of sports utility vehicle. Now what happens is, as we discussed, that the passenger vehicles are been categorized based on their body shapes, and those are hatchbacks, sedans, sports utility vehicle, multi-utility vehicle and vans. Now the segments has shift, or the consumer behavior has been shift to SUVs, or what we say as compact SUVs, that almost has captured the SUV total market share of 58%. मतलब SUV के अंदर भी 3-4 different types of SUVs है. It includes mini, it includes compact, it includes large. So what happens is, mini and medium, or the mid level, or the compact SUVs, they are below 4 meters of length, whereas the large, they are above 4 meters of length, right? So people have started moving to SUV, sports utility vehicle. Now let us see what we have researched. So what happens is, however, the growing share of younger buyers in India, there is an increasing awareness and preference towards parameters other than prices. Like the people's behavior of taking or buying cars with a parameter of prices has been shifted to what? To exteriors and interior designs, the architecture, the infrastructure of the car, the experience, safety, features, aesthetics, etc. So what has happened is, when consumer has started showing interest in the sports utility vehicle rather than the hatchbacks, the companies like Tata Motors, Mahindra and Mahindra, Hyundai has started creating or producing more SUVs or the compact SUVs, and has focused lower on hatchbacks. Look at the new launches of SUVs in the last 4 to 5 years. It is more than 30 as compared to what 3 or 2 new hatchbacks and 2 new sedans has been launched in the last 5 years. So the production and the new innovations has been done more, and the more launches has been done in the SUV segment as compared to that of hatchbacks. So the next and the most important things, why there is slowdown in the hatchbacks. So we have 2 or 3 points that we are going to discuss. Lack of new model launches. We have frequent hikes in the vehicle prices, as we discussed. Increasing operating cost amid fuel price hikes. Like we told कि इनका जो टारगेट ऑडियंस है हैचबैक्स का, वो है अर्बन, वो है रूरल एरियाज एंड टीयर 3 टीयर 2 सिटीज. तो अब क्या हुआ कि इनकी ऑलरेडी yield है नहीं, they don't have lot of money in their pockets, and at the same time there is a price hike in the prices of cars, and also now the prices of fuel are increasing. So their operating running costs are also increasing. What is operating running cost? The cost that a person incurs after buying the car, right? कि हमको कार में पेट्रोल डालना पड़ेगा, so the petrol is their operating cost, so that is increasing. Also the unfavorable macroeconomic environment affecting price sensitive entry level customers, ये हो गया. At the same time, now that we have seen the changes in the GST 2.0 of lower GST on the cars, but it was not the same as what before 2025. It was almost 18, 28, sometimes 40, right? Now more things like changing customer preferences towards SUV premiumization. And what are the results to this? Increased pressure on incomes and cost surges, demands of hatchbacks, especially from the price sensitive compact hatchback segments, was impacted severely. मतलब ये जो है ना, ये जो hatchback वाला है, अब hatchbacks का जो length है ना, that is less than 3.9 meters. Okay, and increased transparency, improved vehicle quality, rising share of organized segments aided the pre-owned vehicle industry and in turn restricted the growth of hatchbacks. Like I said, that the companies have started targeting or started fulfilling the needs of the customers who are expecting to have SUVs as compared to hatchbacks. Also, the prices of SUVs are comparatively very much more as compared to hatchbacks, and the profit margins for the companies are also higher. So this is the motivation for companies to shift from production and launches of hatchbacks to SUV. And this was all about the segmental shifts, and this is all about for today. So what we need to understand is there is always a value migration, and there are always going to be the customer changes in the customer behavior of buying a particular product. And the Indian economy has now moved towards premiumization because the segments of people which they were lying in, they are changing. They have more money in pockets. Some of people have more money in pockets. Which people? The higher middle class and upper middle class. At the same time, the people who are too low, they are not able to afford the entry level cars or the hatchbacks. So these are the 2 or 3 more essential factors because of which hatchbacks are not coming more into the volume of sales. Right? With this today, this is all about it. Thank you.